When the winds of harem blow by you, you just literally let out as much as you can and breathe it and breathe it in. That's the lesson that this episode of How Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom has taught us. Our boy Souma has definitely been learning a few things about the kingdom, and one of the things is that consorts or concubines are definitely a thing that happens in the kingdom. Aisha had to educate him that her limit would be only up to 8. So he could have, including her, up to 8 wives. And that has put a big idea into Soma's head. Now, the reality of it is, what Japanese boy or what man, would say, oh, the winds of harem have blown, I'm going to ignore them, right? So obviously he's getting a little excited, and that's kind of the cliffhanger. It's so weird. That's kind of the cliffhanger that we left off on this episode. But at the same time, when it was being explained to him, there was a really good point that was made. That typically the reason that kings, or people in royalty have more than one wife is to ensure that their lineage gets expanded. So if anything ever happens to them or happens to their wife or their 1 or 2 kids, whatever they have in their consensual marriage, that when they have more than one wife, then that means that their lineage can live on longer and the royal family can grow even further. So if he were to take up to that number, up to the 8 number, then he would be able to have children with each of one of the 8, and they could have children, etc., etc. So you have to think of, okay, 1 and 1 have 1 to maybe 3 kids, maybe even 4. But if that same concept happens between 8, then he's looking to basically, have this diagram tree of just family and family, and it gets to be passed down over time. So for the purpose of the story, harem, right, is the first thing that comes to mind. But the reality of it is there are some political and objectively good reasonings for him to do that. So the other piece of it, too, is obviously, you have the surrounding characters, like our beautiful elf girl. You have, like, Juna, the singer. And he already has people that he has some kind of pre-affection to, or he will begin having some affection towards. And having them in his stable, having them close to him, is definitely something that could prove really good for him. Especially somebody, like the Dark Elf. He would basically have be married into a different race, and he could have a hand into the Dark Elf's territory and influence them, right? So there are a lot of political reasons for him to do this. So other than just living a fantasy, there are political things that could be involved with this as well, which I think is really cool. One thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick, guys, is what are you guys thinking about the format so far with the reviews? This episode is being reviewed by me. Last week, I had some technical issues to where we couldn't react to the episode just because I had lost my footage of it. I didn't want to re-record, so I just did a review. But a lot of you guys in the comments were really supportive of just a review of this series, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna continue that forward. So drop it down in the comments below what you guys think of the review of these episodes, and we'll continue going forward. And if there's an appetite for the reactions to come back, we'll do the reactions again as well. So let me know what you guys think. But I enjoy just doing a review. All right, back to what I was saying. So with the rest of the episode was surrounding, obviously, that was kind of the end, which is the harem stuff, which is what I was talking to you guys about. And that was like kind of the end and the cliffhanger that we left off on. But the crux of the episode was all about focusing again on the delicacies of the kingdom. And the beginning was presented basically like a udon noodle thing made out of slimes, which is just really, it's such a cool concept that Pancho was able to find a delicacy that was centered around slimes, a very common monster. And most people have never eaten a slime because when you destroy it, it just becomes gelatin. But he found a certain village that if they hit them with like an object, like a stick, hard enough, with enough force, but not too much force, that the center, the nucleus of the slime would dissipate, and the slime piece of it, if you let it out for like 2 days, it could be basically made into like a paste or like a dough. And then they could cut it up and make that into noodles. And they have like a noodle-based thing to where he's able to make like a udon-style bowl, which tasted really good, which Soma was very hesitant to try, but when he did, he was like, "Oh my god, it's good." So Aisha and the rest of them jumped in and tried it as well. So now they have another delicacy, which Juna served at her restaurant. So I love the take that they're doing on the delicacies and how the kingdom is slowly building a menu and repertoire of foods that you can probably only find all centered in one area that aren't spread throughout the world in this one area, and it's going to improve their economy and it's going to improve their food shortage. Because even her, she was very appreciative that her restaurant was able to find cheap items or cheap menu items to be able to serve their customers like they did with this delicacy. So I really love that take as well. The rest of the episode is about the I forget what his name is, but the dark mage guy. He's becoming the prime minister. He's becoming his second in command because the current prime minister, Marx, has decided that he wants to retire. Obviously, Soma's not going to let him completely retire. He's still going to help with the treasury, but his second in command is going to be that dark mage guy, the one who is very book savvy. So he's going to become his second in command, and his first thing that he wants Soma to do is to take time off. And Soma realizes that if the boss doesn't take time off, the subordinates can't either, and they're all going to be worked to death. So he takes some time off, and he uses that to go on a date with Aisha. He involves the dark elf, and that's kind of where we land where we are. But it was very cute the way that they did it, because they all dressed up like students in the military academy. And Aisha, the dark elf girl, were all really dressed up. Soma looked really good in his academy uniform, and I thought that was really cute as well for them to kind of like go out on a date and then spend time with each other. And that's when he discovered the ability to have a harem of wives. So I thought that was a really cool thing to see, a little bit of a downplay on the everyday life. And I'm gonna be very excited to see on what comes next with Soma, and what's the next hurdle that he has to jump over. Is he going to head to the Dark Elf Forest next, or what's going to be the very next thing? But I also would like to see them spend more time on the mundane things, with him spending more time with Aisha, much like he did in this episode, which with him spending much more time with the Dark Elf girl, maybe even learning how to do combat. I think that's going to be very fruitful for him to learn how to do combat, especially with his magic power, where he can imprint his soul onto items. And then I would like to see him just kind of, continue to do more medial things, like, go out on dates and stuff like that too, and more side of it. So I'm very excited to see on what comes next for this anime. I love watching it each and every week. It's definitely one of my favorite animes. It definitely gets my brain going. And I love seeing literally the economical side of rebuilding a kingdom. I think it's just such a cool premise to the isekai genre. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, guys. Let me know. I need 2 things from you guys. Let me know what you guys think about just doing reviews on the anime. I really love doing reviews, and let me know what you guys think about them. If you guys dig it, I'll continue. If you hate it, if you want reactions, I'll do that too. And let me know what you guys think about the episode. I want all your thoughts. Let's chat down below. Let me know what you think about the 8 wives thing. It's so cool or so bad. I don't even know. Let me know what you guys think. And make sure, if you guys missed last week's review, check it out right here. This is another episode of a different review or reaction right here. It's what YouTube says best for you, so click that. And I'll see you guys next week for episode number 6 of How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. Peace out, friends.